Good morning, Mrs. Burke.
Good morning, Mrs. Hicks. Good morning, Mrs. Luke.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tyler.
Hi, girls.
My husband loved your recipe. Whoever taught you to make beef stroganoff like that?
Stroganoff. Maggie, breakfast? Breakfast!
I can't, Bill. I'm late.
Breakfast, madame.
No, Bill, I'll be late at the office. Oh, well, just the coffee. It's inhuman. Conference isn't until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Eggs?
Home life means nothing to her. Nothing means nothing to her. Just Brenner bathing suits. She breathes, sleeps, even eats bathing suits.
I've seen the size of those bathing suits, and she won't get indigestion. Toast?
Oh, 24 hours a day. Bathing suits, bathing suits, bathing suits. She's got a crack. Don't you think so? Oh, I wish I could quit.
Orange juice?
Really, Bill, I'm late.
Read it.
I...
Now?
Well, oh. When did you get this?
First thing this morning.
Why didn't you give it to me?
I did everything but to hit you over the head with it.
My husband, a Ph.D. Oh, congratulations.
You deserve more credit than I do. 10 years working with Mrs. Brenner.
Oh, it's actually happened. I can stay home. I can be a wife. When can I quit?
I asked Dr. Weston about an assistant professorship. He's all for it.
Tell me how soon.
Well, I don't know. I hope right away, but you know how the university is. It may take weeks, even months.
Oh, well, if I could stand it for 10 impossible years, what's a few more impossible months? Whoops, back to work.
Hey, Maggie.
Morning.
Have a nice day, dear.
Morning.
Did you get your dishes done this
I haven't
morning?
done a thing all morning. It's terrible.
Say, Gus, that shipment was to be delivered this afternoon. I know you have problems, Gus, but not like you'll have if you don't get that shipment out. She's loaded for bear today, and you're in season. Oh, get this down to accounting right away, please. Yeah. Well, get on it right away, will you, Gus? Oh, hi, Charlie.
Hi, Maggie. How's her nibs?
She's hitting 1,000 on the nasty meter.
One of her little gripes again.
Yeah, but today she's lumped them into one big, impossible tantrum. Oh, Charlie, I wouldn't go in if I were you.
Maggie, it's her order. She wanted to see the new number.
Not this morning, and not black.
Oh, well, thanks, Maggie. But this number she'll love. Well,
Hello, Phil. You know that number in black Charlie just brought up? Well, make it in white and have it up here this afternoon. If you hurry, we just might be able to save Charlie's job for me.
How dare you? It's horrible. It's revolting. Black.
but it's not really black, Mrs. Brenner. It's sort of a pastel black.
Loathsome. It's cheap. You call yourself a designer when you can design for somebody else. You're fired. Mrs. Tyler. Men. I've never met a man yet who could think like a woman.
If they did, we'd all be pretty lonesome playing volleyball.
Very funny. What about my day?
You have an appointment with Mr. Jennings on that synthetic line at 11. The Dewey department store is still delinquent in their account. I wouldn't ship them anymore. You have an appointment with Mr. Selby from Detroit in 30 minutes.
Appointments will never be finished. Maggie, plan on working late again tonight. We've got to go over the new line.
Tonight? But I haven't seen my husband one evening in the past 2 weeks.
I haven't seen my husband in 15 years. And I'm going to try for 20.
I happen to love my husband.
Well, bully for you. But if you want to be working tomorrow, you'll work tonight.
Is Mr. Tyler in? Oh,
Professor Weston, come in.
thank you. I hope I'm not disturbing you at your household duties.
Well, let's see. Made the beds, took care of the laundry, shopped and dusted, took my bubble bath. I think I can take a few minutes breather. Come in, Professor. Sit down.
Thank you. Oh, cookies. Delicious.
Well, thank you. I made them.
Sheer poetry.
I'll give you the recipe.
That's exceedingly generous of you. Oh, wait. I didn't come just to eat your cookies, did I? Oh. I just had a long talk with the distinguished president of our university. Subject one, William Tyler, regarding his application as assistant professor in philosophy.
What did he say?
Fantastic. Nana.
The president.
Oh, he said yes. You'll be assigned to my department, Professor, beginning tomorrow morning. $5,200 a year.
Professor. $5,200 a year.
In 10 to 20 years, they'll be giving you a living wage.
Professor, I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you've done for me. Excuse me. Hello.
I'm sorry, darling. I won't be able to come home for dinner tonight. Looks like another late session. Brenner is at her usual best. Insufferable.
I understand, darling. Don't let it bother you. I'll see you later. Professor Weston, are you certain the job is set? I mean, nothing can go wrong. I've got it, haven't I?
You'll receive confirmation in the mail.
This is going to knock her right off her feet. Wait for me. I'll walk out with you. Can't intrude on the mighty Brenner without looking right. Oh, Professor, I can't tell you what you've done for me. You've emancipated me. For the first time in 10 years, I'm going to be the man in the house. I'm going to live on my salary. I'll be the breadwinner.
Well, sentiments, but hardly realistic. Your university salary couldn't begin to pay for the upkeep of all this.
Oh, you don't understand, Professor. We were married when we were still in college. Korea came along. That cost me 3 years. When I came back, she wouldn't let me go to work. Wouldn't let me compromise for less than what I wanted. She paid for my education, my BA, my MA, and now my PhD.
That's an interesting situation. Wife, the breadwinner, husband, the housekeeper.
Oh, I didn't have to be. Maggie was willing to keep house. But I had to pay my own way. It made me feel better. But now that's all over. Professor William Tyler. That's me.
You don't mean you're going to let her quit?
Well, Maggie's waited 10 years for this day. She wants to be a real wife, take care of her own house.
But this is appalling. Change your mind, son. Fight her.
Professor.
My boy, you're going to be in the poorest paid profession in the world. Now, if your wife can make enough money to give you luxury and comfort, don't be a fool. Let her work. Overtime if necessary.
Professor, did you let your wife work?
I didn't have to. She was loaded.
With the exception of this white number, the rest are terrible. What are you trying to do? Ruin me?
Why, Mrs. Brenner. Well, they're beautiful. They're the best we've ever designed.
They're dull, ordinary, unimaginative. Take them out of the line.
I wouldn't be too hasty, Mrs. Brenner.
I said take them out.
Okay, girls, that'll be all.
Well, the thanks you get for working 24 hours a day.
We've been following the suggestions of the front office all along, and now you don't like them.
What suggestions? What front office?
Well, I know how busy you've been, and I was just trying to help them along.
Because you know how I like things, don't you, Mrs. Tyler? That'll be all for now, gentlemen. I have a few things I'd like to discuss with Mrs. Tyler. Well? So, Maggie told them. Maggie, the executive. And I suppose you built this company up to where it is today? I pay you a very substantial sum to be my private secretary and nothing more. Just remember that.
Excuse me. I'd like to speak to my wife, Mrs. Tyler. Oh, I'm Mr. Tyler.
Obviously.
Pardon me?
Maggie, I've got to talk to you.
Not now, darling. I've got something to say to her. I've had it. I've had it like I've never had it before. Oh, how I've had it.
Go ahead and quit, darling. I've got a job now.
Swell. Mrs. Brenner. What did you say?
Go ahead and quit.
What did you say before the go ahead and quit?
Meet Assistant Professor William Tyler, Philosophy Department, State University.
Wow. Watch me. I've been waiting 10 years for this. Just a private secretary, am I? Well, let me tell you, I've been a lot more than a private secretary to this company.
Just a minute.
You, just a minute. Last year when you said the metallic suit wouldn't sell, who told the salesman to show it anyway? It was the biggest number in the line.
I don't remember that.
Well, maybe you'll remember 808. The sunburst was my design. And what about the ruffles on 406?
Mrs. Tyler, you are trying my patience.
You've been trying mine for years.
I've never been so insulted in my life.
You must have.
Well, Mrs. Tyler, in spite of your monumental contributions, I think this company can muddle along very nicely without you.
You will, Mrs. Brenner. I quit.
Maggie! Oh, Maggie, you wouldn't leave me. Why, you couldn't work for anybody else.
Yes, I could, Mrs. Brenner. I've got a new boss now. The nicest in the whole world. I'm going to be a wife.
Good morning, Mrs. Bird. Good morning, Mrs. Hicks. Good morning, Mrs. Lucas.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Tyler.
Hi, girl.
Hi, darling. Breakfast ready?
Think so? Sit down. Drink your orange juice, darling. Your eggs. Isn't this the worst-looking mess you ever saw?
Now that you mention it, yes.
Why don't you go down to the drugstore and get something decent?
Now, if you took the trouble to cook it, darling, the least I can do is eat.
The bacon. Oh! I'll improve. You wait and see. I'll be the best cook you ever saw.
Sure you will, honey. Bye. Don't put that stuff in the garbage disposal. It'll never take it.
Beat until foamy. Hello. Come right in, won't you?
Well. Happy?
Oh, never happier. Why shouldn't I be happy? I've got everything a woman ever dreams about.
Oh, Maggie. You're as out of place doing housework as apples on a lilac tree.
I said I was happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
What a waste. Brilliant young coordinating executive. Down on her hands and knees gathering dust.
Coordinating executive?
10,000 a year, her own private office, complete charge. Still happy?
Aren't you hitting a little below the hemline?
Oh, look, Maggie, I realize I'm dominating and cantankerous, but I'm also smart enough to know when I need someone. You know our operation, you know styling, the market, and you love the business. How am I doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Brenner. Thanks for coming over.
You'll be back.
Come in. Oh, good morning, William.
Good morning, Professor. I just came over to remind you about dinner tonight, 7:30.
Barring any unforeseen occurrences, I shall be prompt.
Good.
Gentlemen, dinner is served.
You know it all?
You don't know how I've been looking forward to this.
Professor, you're sitting over there.
Oh, beautiful setting, my dear.
Thank you.
Perfect, darling.
The same what this house looked like 3 hours ago. Oh, will you sit down, please? I'll start serving.
I think you underrated your bride.
I think I did, too.
Here we are.
Beef stroganoff.
I thought I'd surprise you. It's your recipe.
It looks incredibly succulent.
Thank you. Let me help you, Professor.
Thank you.
All right.
Eat hearty, Professor.
I'll get the salad.
What's the matter?
Peppered glue.
I can't understand it. She got the recipe out of my own cookbook.
Lucretia Boyd, you must have written it. Give my respects to the little woman and tell her. Tell her anything.
Look, Professor, I'm terribly sorry. Please don't leave now.
I assure you our professional relationship will not suffer this time, but if you ever invite me to dinner again...
Look, Professor.
As a sometime chemist, I've studied rare poisons for 40 years. All I can say is, if the pygmies of Africa ever found out about your wife's beef stroganoff, they'd come over just to fill their darts.
Bill? Where's the professor?
He had a date with some pygmies. I really had to go suddenly.
He didn't like it, did he?
Oh, no, honey. It's just that he's unpredictable. He remembered the date he'd made 6 months ago, just like him. Come on, sit down, darling. Wonderful, darling. Delicious.
No wonder he ran. It's horrible.
No, darling. It's peppery and it's bad, but it's not horrible.
You'd actually eat it. You'd actually make yourself sick rather than tell me the truth. Oh, I'm a rotten cook. I'm a rotten housekeeper. I'm a rotten wife.
Darling. Darling. So what? It didn't turn out. Nobody expects you to be a master chef in a week.
Why don't you tell me I'm a failure? Why don't you tell me I'll never be a cook? If you loved me, you would.
Oh, darling.
Oh, for 7 days now, you've slept on torn sheets and worn scorched shirts and shrunken socks and eaten all the awful things I've cooked. Where's your pride? You've never once complained.
Well, you didn't complain when I started to cook. Remember, I ruined all kinds of meals.
Oh, that was different. It was long ago and our stomachs were better. Oh, no, I'll never be a cook. I'll never be a housekeeper.
There's no mystery about housework. Give yourself time, Maggie. You'll learn.
Oh, can I learn how to have rough skin and housemaid's knee and dishpan hands?
Well, if it was good enough for me, it's good enough for you.
You're trying to subjugate me. You're trying to hold me down. You don't want me to be a brilliant young executive. You just want me to be a woman.
Well, if you try it once, you might like that, too. What do you mean, brilliant young executive?
Mrs. Brenner was over here today and offered me a job at twice your pay.
That does it. I will not have a businessman for a wife. You're going to stay where you belong, home.
You can't chain me up. You can't make me stay here.
No, I can't make you, but you better stay here.
Are you threatening me?
No, I'm warning you.
You are threatening me.
All right, I'm threatening you, but you start that Brenner merry-go-round once again, you can count me out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very funny.
Hello. Hello, Mrs. Brenner. This is Maggie Tyler. I've changed my mind. I'll take that job. First thing in the morning.
I hope you and Mrs. Brenner will be very happy together. Maggie? Darling, I'm home. Honey, I was wrong about last night.
How do you do?
How do you do? Where's Maggie?
In the bedroom.
Oh. What are you doing here?
Why, I'm Dr. Wallace. Your wife wasn't feeling well this morning. She sent for me.
She ate stroganoff. I did it. It was that argument. I had to go and lose my temper. I was just a heel. That old male ego. I was completely wrong. Had to have the last word. Hello?
Where is she? She said she'd be here. We've got our big sales convention coming up.
Well, Maggie's sick. Well, I don't know. Wait a minute. It isn't serious, is it?
No, she'll be fine. These things happen.
Oh, that's her boss. Wants to know when she'll be back to work.
About a year.
The doctor says she'll be back in a year.
A year? What do you mean a year? Prenatal care, postnatal care. Takes about that long.
What takes?
Silly. I'm going to have a baby.
A baby? Oh, doctor, thank you. Thank you very much.
Don't thank me.
Darling, you've got to rest. You've got to lie down. You're going to have a baby.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm hungry.
Wonderful. I'll make you dill pickles, my own recipe. And Maggie, I'm sorry about last night. It was my fault. From now on, you can do anything you want to do.
With 3 or 4 kids, I'll have a full-time job.
3 or 4.
Well, after all, I'm a businesswoman at heart. I don't believe in doing things in a small way. Besides, we can get their bathing suits at a discount.
Mrs. Brenner, I forgot. Mrs. Brenner, we're going to have a little discount. I mean a baby.
Darling, you sit down. I'll make you breakfast.
Oh, no. You've got to take care of yourself. You sit down.
Oh, well, I've got to learn how to be a wife sometime.
You know, I think you're beginning to catch on.
Next week, Screen Directors Playhouse welcomes the distinguished Hollywood director, Mr. John Brom. Mr. Brom will bring us a story of a beautiful woman's struggle to overcome the consequences of an avaricious past. Be sure to join us when Screen Directors Playhouse presents George Sanders and Constance Cummings in The Bitter Waters, based on a famous short story by Henry James.